We've been heartened by the team sheets, seeing the likes of, at least in game one, both Tom and Easyhoon playing. They had a chance in that game, but cruelly taken away by MVP Bang.
Well, SK Telecom is done with the Runeglaive shenanigans. As it appears, they will ban the Ezreal first and not give that pick over, also taking away the Braum from Ignar. So they don't want to first pick that champion.
Curious Ryze ban on red side. Now, SKT have been forced to ban Ryze on blue lots of times so far, very consistently this season, so maybe IM knows something we don't. Maybe Marin has actually been practicing Ryze to show up one of those champion pool problems that SKT have.
Well, Marin actually does play Ryze in solo queue quite frequently, which has been one of the more confusing aspects to their blue side Ryze bans. They are going to take out the Gnar, of course. That is Xpecial's kind of go-to meta champion.
Bring us something new. That's what SKT says, panning out 3 champions that were in play from IM last game.
Yeah, it's curious to me too. Wolf not really a Braum player, actually, so that's been a champion like the Twisted Fate that we haven't seen, like the Shen meta champions that we haven't seen prioritized here by SK Telecom just yet. Twisted Fate is still on the board, a frequent blue side ban, and they may just go ahead and first pick the victor. Azir banned once more, but the Nidalee up for grabs. Of course, Bengi less likely to play that champion.
Spooky, one of the few players in IM that has his choice of champions. He could have gone for the Evelynn that he played last game, but with Rek'Sai out and an effective blocker for Evelynn, it seems like the no-brainer choice, especially when Bengi, he's almost synonymous with Rek'Sai ever since he really started playing him towards the final series in spring.
Yeah, actually didn't play Rek'Sai at all up until the playoffs of champions. Those were his first competitive games on Rek'Sai. Came in a crucial moment last season against CJ Entus when they were down 0-2. With Thresh, of course, one of Ignar's signature champions. Really just go back to that. He is certainly a playmaker. And SK Telecom probably just going to take the Gragas in this particular situation. Bengi trending in that direction these days when the Rek'Sai is not available, and they are just going to troll Cloud Templar here for a few moments.
Of course, the Olaf loomed as a possibility. Even changed to the Summoner Ghost. Probably going to change from there. Of course, Spooky played the Olaf in the last series, but just in this particular situation against a player like Bengi who loves getting in your face, they love to rotate with the mid lane and contest buffs on those champions like Rek'Sai, have to ban it away.
Also, blind picking an Olaf when there's a possibility of a Jarvan coming through is dangerous, to say the least, and Bengi played plenty of Jarvan in his time, so if he...
love those edge champions where it's like, well, Olaf's come in, now it's time to pull out the Jarvan, just like when Shen's been played in top, and I'm wondering, where's that Singed?
It's coming, Papa Smithy. I believe it is. Those Singed buffs look mighty fine. Well, Marin will go on to Rumble, his most played champion in his competitive career. The comfort picks coming through strong for SKT in this game, and they know how to play with Victor, even if it's not going to be Faker at the helm in the mid lane. Roar's played a lot of Vayne this season, actually. He emphasized it. I am playing a lot of kind of weird Varus Vayne compositions at the start of this season, even though we haven't seen it so much lately.
Varus in particular has fallen away. You feel like Runeglaive Ezreal kind of does his job better and has the more flexible escapes. Jace looms as a possibility. Frozen goes with the tried and true Cassiopeia. Interesting to see if he goes with the build we saw yesterday, which was just the standard Archangels into Abyssal Deathcap, or if it is the tier into Rylai's build that has started to pick up a bit of popularity, especially on patch 5.13.
And the Olaf is picked anyway for that top lane. We've heard players say in interviews, we like playing Olaf into Rumble. We really, really like this matchup. Now that they know what the jungler is, there's not that danger anymore of the Jarvan coming through. So,
and of course, who played? But Duke actually played this matchup and just blew away the Rumble. There is that potential. It's very awkward in the early levels where you just can't really trade with the Flame Spitter, whether you max the Q or E on Olaf, the Reckless Swing. But if you do get points into the queue and you get a gank, if Rumble ever overextends, which of course Rumble players love to do around level 4 or so, Bengi will have to be in position, or in a long lane, you just chase it down, you hit the axes, and with the reliable initiation from Rek'Sai, could be a very difficult laning phase, but this is Marin we're talking about. There's one thing he knows how to do. It's play Rumble.
Yes, absolutely, but he is also known for overextending on this Rumble, just like we saw. He gave up First Blood in that last game. As a result, going for perhaps the safer Corki right here because they're not going to have a strong mid game right now until Olaf and Cassiopeia really power up. So that would be a good bridge into a potent late game, which they're going to need against a champion like Rumble who can kind of dominate that mid game if you have nothing to answer. Of course, Vayne coming in again for Bang after his MVP performance on that champion.
Thought he would go for a bit of an earlier power spike champion, but the Corki probably would have been too much magic damage for the lineup, so maybe this is just a safe, flexible choice. Vayne is the only true late game champion. Victor, of course, no slouch in the late game, but it's something a bit different from the AD carry role. It does leave them very wave clear focused around Easyhoon once again.
Yep, well, it worked last time to a certain degree. If it hadn't been for some of those misplays on objectives, they could have snowballed that game out early. And remember, again, Faker, he's played this matchup into the Cassiopeia. He knows. We saw him play against Kuro's Cassiopeia and just kind of take over the game again. He's really able to do a lot of work on this Victor, but can Easyhoon replicate that feat? Can SK Telecom play around him again now with Bengi in the jungle? You'd think he'd have a bit more freedom to push forward because Bengi's just going to play for wards and not try and do any kind of crazy steals like we saw Tom gun for in the last game.
Frozen was definitely given a long leash on the Runeglaive Ezreal, was ahead or even in CS, or I mean in terms of gold, for the majority of the laning phase. So will Bengi, that's kind of the one cog that's changed, will that affect how this matchup goes? Because if they can really take out this early turret early, we've seen consistently, Cassiopeia just doesn't have the ability to instant push anywhere near Victor's strength in that.
That said, Marin not on Maokai, so he's going to have less pressure. They really did rely on Marin's Maokai to kill the Runeglaive Ezreal and dive early. Still has some of that potential, especially after he hits 6, but not anywhere near the same degree. So execution will be a little bit harder. As we head into Game 2, I'm excited to see the top lane Olaf again. Can Expression do work in this matchup up against the Rumble? Let's get into Game 2 and find out.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을
SKT up 1-0 against Longzhu IM at the moment. And we're going to see just a standard fan right here. No need for IM to invade. They're not trying to stop any kind of sapling stacking in this game as Maokai falls all the way through picks and bans.
Looks like they're happy to opt into standard lanes as well. We often see Olaf lane swapped onto, even though a couple of years ago he was one of the strongest lane swap champions in a 1v2 situation. So for now, I think it's pretty aggressive and I guess not that surprising for a player like Marin, but to go amp term start against an Olaf who can really trade damage with the best of them, very aggressive decision.
Well, we kind of expect that from Marin right now. He is going to have to play very cautiously around the ganking of Spooky. He cannot have the same fate befall him as he did in the last one because Expression, if he gets into the late game on Olaf, there's not really anything to stop him from SK Telecom. He will just shred through Victor without much resistance.
So I like what IM is doing. They're doing the jungle follow with Olaf. One of the reasons why this is a smart decision is that Olaf jungle has always been a thing because his clearing of camps is lightning fast with the pickup mechanic on his Q, the axe toss. So in the jungle follow, he's going to be able to pick up a lot of experience and he'll teleport to lane substantially before or with an experience advantage over his counterpart Rumble.
Well, speaking of experience advantages, small Krug actually taken by Bang & Wolf. So a subtle advantage in that laning phase to begin with. We'll see if Bang can hold out for as long as he did in the last game. Certainly Corki not having that same pushing power that the Tristana did. So SKT, if they're able to get another lead in the mid lane, could in fact not have those turrets answered for, like we saw with the Trist in the last game.
Bang takes a lot of burst. IM will know that something has gone afoot in the jungle just because of the health bar that was on Wolf as he entered lane. Alistair Vayne is a kill lane. You can get the massive CC at level 2 against the wall and do a lot of work. Expression comes into lane with 1 CS advantage and a little bit of experience. So he's doing just fine.
Marin with an early green ward this time. Not going to be fooled by a 3-minute 30 gank, at least from the Rivers. Got to be careful though. Spooky at his red buff right now, will be there in time for that gank. He wants to go for it, and of course Dangerous coming over that thick piece of terrain on the bottom right corner of your screen.
Always the awkward level 3, level 4 where Rumble just can't help but push the lane. And we mentioned a couple of times, you ghost on Olaf, you hit those axes, the enemy Rumble will die. So expect a lot of action around the Olaf Rumble top lane.
Yeah, that's key to this. Bengi actually going to take away the Scuttle Crab. Spooky getting low. There's the body slam coming in. Spooky gets the knock up. There's a tunnel ready and waiting, but nice chunk from Bengi onto this Rek'Sai.
A couple of seconds later, and Bengi would have had the body slam available again. Okay, they're going to try for this layering of CC onto Ignar, but Bane doesn't commit. He holds onto the Condemn.
Yeah, the Phosphorus bomb coming through. Spooky's still going for this. Oh, Bengi is here. He's going to kill that tunnel. He sees what's going on, but Spooky pulls back to the brush and has to get out of there. Easy Hoon is going to get all into the mid lane. Burns the summoner heal and his flash. Same thing for Frozen. So all summoners down in the mid lane, and all of a sudden this is going to turn into a big mid lane battle for the junglers and the supports.
It's super enthralling to watch that SKT are playing much the same style regardless of roster. Both mid lane and their other lanes trying to push up, trying to force the enemy jungle into bad decisions, give Bengi space to invade. You can see the differences. Frozen actually able to hold down Easy Hoon in the damage trade because he was overextended, and the repeated E's came in to almost pick up first blood.
Well, here we go. Bengi and Spooky both lurking around the mid side. Spooky just going to fire a Praise Seeker. Looks like they want to push forward right now. Spooky does have that red buff. Bengi just waiting, farming at the Raptors in case anything goes wrong. He can get there in a jiffy. Nothing necessary right now. Easy Hoon will just play a more reserved game, but this means he's getting less chip damage so far. And we do see Cassiopeia get a bit of a recall timing.
Xpecial had to use his ghost, so would have had to guess that an Electro Harpoon hit forced him out of lane. Doesn't have Ragnarok available yet, so that does actually remove kill pressure for what, the 3 minutes or so that Ghost is going to be on cooldown. Spooky's in the bottom lane, nice Condemn, but doesn't have it available now, Bang.
Yeah, Condemn up, so right out of the tunnels, Chilling Smite used, but there's just no follow-up as SKT falls back at the proper time. Nice attempt, but nothing coming from it for IM. Marin now looking to bully Xpecial some more underneath his turret. You can see him hovering there on the outside. Bengi is here. They want to dive. Marin is not 6. And there you go, flash forward, and he will pick up the kill on the overheat. Great heat management there from Marin. Oh, close. Close call, Minion Wave. Coming in at the wrong time. And flash has to be used. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, Spooky comes in again, but Wolf is there, stuffs him with the headbutt and the pulverize. He flashed for that one, actually. Very nicely played defensively.
A really clutch disengage headbutt coming through from Bang. He knows exactly, sorry, from Wolf. He knows exactly what he's doing on this Alistair. By far his most played this season. Ignar's not done, though. But not realistic when it comes to any sort of turret dive, at least as the lane is right now, just because of the health bars, relatively healthy, and heal's still available for Bang.
There's still 3 summoners down in that lane, including Exhaust, so there would be quite a lot of trouble for IM if they want to actually take out somebody underneath this turret. 3v2, not going to happen. Instead, use the time to take a little bit of a jaunt back to their base. And Gragas going to delay the recall onto Ignar's Thresh. Ward in that brush means Bengi will buy a few more seconds for his duo lane to push forward. Nicely timed right there, and Grog is just going to put in some wards into the enemy jungle. And we'll see when Bang and Wolf decide to go back right now.
Last time we saw this Olaf versus Rumble matchup, there was 2 kills for the Olaf very early in the laning phase. So got an item advantage. Now doesn't even have the Hex Drinker compared to the finished Haunting Guys. Even the 200 health on the Haunting Guys will be very relevant to Olaf's damage. So for the moment, Maren going to have a lot of lane supremacy against Expression.
Bang trying to trade right there, but he only has a Doran's Blade. Roar takes a bit of heat, but with that, Sheen wins it. And now finally the first recall coming down. 1900 gold, as you can see, onto Bang. Just lagging a touch behind the Corki. But EasyHoon, he's been stuffed a little bit in the lane. He hasn't been able to push as much as he would like to with those summoner spells down. Looks like the flash will be coming up somewhat soon as he goes ahead and takes that blue buff away. Blue buff timings are staggered between the two mid laners. So maybe this is the window of time he needs.
I think the big factor is, can they deny the next blue buff from Frozen? When you have both Tyr and blue buff, Cassiopeia, okay, it takes time, but she does have decent wave control. If you can deny the boo, which is something that Bengi and Faker are famous for doing against the likes of Varus in the mid lane, that might actually give them the windows to really start to both chip the turret down or even go for a dive and just eliminate that outer turret as early as possible.
Oh, that outer turret in the bottom lane, though, it did get a lot of damage from that Sheen. Bang and Wolf sticking around a long time, even though they knew that the Corki had recalled, so by the time they get back, they've nearly lost it already.
A lot of damage, as you mentioned. That's the reality of Corki with Sheen. Excellent turret damage. Bengi's in the area. Oh, it's nice, just actually coming out of base. So Spooky's in the area on the Rex side.
Yeah, so push successful for the Victor. Now we can see EasyHoon starting to motion down to the bottom side. If IM goes too far up, if they get greedy for this turret kill, everyone is going to be there from SK Telecom. It's like a Equalizer was just used in the top lane just to clear out a wave. As Maren wants to recall, especially used his TP to get back into lane.
Does give them a window for the Dragon, although crucially won't have the Equalizer. Bengi's knocks in here.
Here we go, and are we going to see the TP? Ignar is knocked back out by the explosive cast. He is dead as he gets condemned into the wall afterwards. Nice play by Bengi and Bang to set up the kill. And that was right after Rumble had recalled, so there was the possibility of a teleport. Really smooth setup there from SKT. Down to the second around the top lane of recall.
It's lovely to see when they play a couple of minutes in the advantage, in the future, understanding that they had that teleport advantage, that Dragon was at their beck and call whenever they wanted it, and then Gragas was able to sneak in and pick up the kill. So when you make those logical leaps, when you understand where you have the power, always good to see.
Yeah, this is what the best teams do. We see these very well thought out plays. The thought process is Expression just used in the top lane. Sure, we don't have Equalizer, but considering it could be a 4v3 in the bottom side, it's not going to matter that much.
Oh boy.
And Wolf coming around from the side, Roar, and there is that combo. CC into CC. Ignar gonna hit the hook though. Wolf getting quite low. Wolf back in turret range, but he's still got that Unbreakable on. And here comes Bengi. Are we gonna see this dive? TP now coming in, Equalizer not quite up yet. And there's the cooking from the backside of the turret. Maren just boxing him in, and there's the condemned kill from SKT. So 2 for none in the bottom side. They make use of that teleport. Going to at least get a tower for this. We'll see if they get a Dragon 2.
Just understanding their positions of power. This is the SKT that we know and love. This is a flashback to a couple of weeks ago. Now, Olaf does a lot of turret damage now that you have 40% attack speed. Base steroid on the W means you just smash down these turrets very quickly, but it's going to be a turret trade and a Dragon for SKT, adding on to those 2 kills they already picked up.
Well, the turret not quite down yet, actually, in the bottom lane. It was abandoned in favor of going for that first Dragon, so it will be a turret for a Dragon, but the 2 kills for SKT, the big tipping point.
Leandries is the first pickup from Maren, so all his gold spent on what is effectively a team fight item. It's not going to do much against a Expression who's already built into the Hex Drink. It doesn't have a lot of health pool just yet. Can Expression buy items to actually be able to win the 1v1 in the side lanes? That's the big question, whether Expression can actually control Maren, who's clearly looking for the team fights rather than the 1v1.
Yeah, and Bang 2. A little bit of a different mode. Of course, he will be able to split push against pretty much anybody at this point. in that 1v1 scenario, and especially the Olaf here, who has gotten the Hex Drinker. Bang may have a bit of an advantage, and now Mara just going in on Expression.
No mana at all, so there's no counterplay here. Of course, the E no longer has a mana cost, but it doesn't really matter. Nice sidesteps from Expression. There's just nothing you can do.
Wow, just drilling him straight into the ground. Wow, that was an impressive solo kill there. Expression didn't have his Ghost. Like you said, didn't have any mana to use his abilities, and that was it.
That was usually the situation where you can win the 1v1. That's where Olaf thrives, but with no mana. You only had the Ruby Crystal. We're expecting probably a Righteous Glory. No, he has to go Spectre's Cowl.
Ooh, that's rough.
No mana sustain means that even the all-in, look, the 100 to 0 is possible if Marin's super overextended, but that mana bar ever gets below half, you just don't have the mana pool to be able to trade.
Well, we didn't really touch on this, Papa Smithy, but without that Righteous Glory on the Olaf, there's not a great way for IM to start fights. If you have a Sivir or a Righteous Glory and the Ghost, you can really effectively just run Olaf into their backline, and the enemy team has to stand and deal with him. But without that, they're basically relying on a hook from Ignar to actually engage. And now that they're falling behind in terms of the dragons and in terms of gold, there's not a lot of hope for them to be able to force SK Telecom off of objectives.
The only thing that IM can really do with this Spectre's Cowl purchase, you know, the 1,200 gold being put into Spectre's Cowl, is double down on the split push, double down on Expression, trying to keep Marin occupied or try to solo them, because without the Righteous Glory, without any sort of team fight kind of focus compared to Marin, who's actually got the Liandry's, they're kind of pigeonholed to deal with the side waves and to deal with Rumble.
Well, at least until Vayne gets into that lane where all he has is MR, though, so that's a bit of a problem, too. Expression now trying to hunt down Bengi. Marin is here. Marin does have the equalizer available, and that's the difference right there between Bengi and Tom. Notice that Bengi takes the time when Frozen has recalled to go after that red buff and contested. He's on the same page. He gets help with Death Ray from EasyHoon on the red buff. Marin is there to back him up as he gets out of the jungle. Much cleaner objective control and very low risk compared to Tom's solo invades.
Wolf taking a bit of damage. Spooky's here as well. They're going to draw in a teleport as well. This is 4v2.
Yeah, there it is. Wolf almost certainly going to die here, but at least he will go down alone. Frozen collapses to the bottom side, but it will be Rumble getting a turret in return. And there's just not much that they can do right now. Marin just continues to push up. Look at Bengi. He's taking the topside jungle, so that trade definitely in favor of SKT, considering they're going to get some damage down onto a tier 2 at the same time.
It's very smart of EasyHoon to just overextend, or seemingly overextend, just to clear the next wave to ensure that even taking the mid-outer turret isn't really realistic until a minion wave spawns for IM. They're able to kite through the enemy jungle very happily. We're seeing a lot of trading in bottom. Can Bang stay alive? It looks like he might even win this, right? He's not done.
Is he going to 1v2 right here? He pops his ultimate. He is getting those invisibility. Now he's going to get hooked. No, barely loses out. Has to use that summoner heal, but still goes down. Impressive, though, that he was able to hold on for that long.
1v1, that's definitely Vayne's purview.
TP coming in. Marin's CP is just back up right now. Wolf wants the backside, and there's Marin. Pops out of the brush. Equalizer goes down. Wolf tries to zone out Roar on the outside. Here comes Marin, a couple autos, and that's going to be it. Double kill for Rumble, and look at that. Right when the TP comes back off, SKT able to make that play. They see that Bang has chunked out the enemies in the bottom side. There's no recourse really for IM in that scenario, especially since Wolf gets back to lane so quickly with those boots of mobility.
We just rewind. They had to commit 5 members and a teleport to pick up a single kill, so even just in terms of teleport trades, a 2-for-1, but there's just no objectives for IM to pick up. They'd already pushed all their waves at the same time. Bengi's going to find Expression, and Expression has always been the case so far this game. No mana.
But Victor is here. He's in the river. Cassiopeia chasing him up right now. There's a reckless swing going down. He's going to smite the minion wave to get some more health. Expression still taking a lot of damage from Bengi here. He's on the run. He has no ghost. He used it earlier in the jungle. And Ignar is the hero with that lantern. Chaos Storm used. They're not going to get much. However, Roar has to Valk over the wall. Nope, just going to flash forward. Marin says goodbye. Drill to the face. And that's the end of Earth.
And that's Marin's Rumble. He's super aggressive on this champion. has the very early Leandries. We talk about team fight damage from the Equalizer. He's no slouch on just the solo kills apparently either.
Marin definitely coming up absolutely massive this game. Huge outplays on this Rumble, 6-0-0. A disgusting kill line for 17 minutes.
Yes, the offense, he could even go into the Merc Treads rather than the Sorcerer's Shoes and still output the same sort of crazy damage that we've come to expect from Marin's Rumble.
Whenever he plays Rumble and he starts to get ahead, it is a thing of beauty because this is his champion. This always has been his champion. He was known for this when he came out of the amateur scene and started playing professionally, and just his knowledge of Rumble's limits is what really surprises me. He knows the exact all-in potential of this champion.
And this game, look, no limits. No limits whatsoever when you're 6-0-0. You throw the rule book out, you don't look at the matchup the same way. It doesn't matter if it's the Olaf that Duke shows can crush the Rumble. Doesn't mean anything when he's got 6 kills.
Well, especially since now Expression is starting to build into a Glacial Shroud, so that's not going to help at all. Bang now, starting to push up the mid lane with the Hoon. And Invade coming through, have to rip out Cassiopeia with the Lantern. Not going to save your Pink Wards though. The Vision defense not going well for Incredible Miracle. They're trying to push out the top side, get some more farm onto Corki. Bengi will just go ahead and steal the Wolf.
Just the access to resources that IM has. They're being completely stifled. They've got access to nothing, and Bengi keeps going.
Yeah, nothing to stop them right now. Now, especially that Mar is there. Explosive Cast not going to do very much, but they still zone out long enough to get a turret. And there's a, nice hook from Ignar. Bengi has to flash, gets the Ignite onto him. Chaos Storm just used his zone. Can the rocket hit? No! Gets a little bit of splash damage off, but it was not a big one.
Drew out Easy Hoon Summoner heal that looked like it probably would have been Bengi go down. So nice use of that Summoner by Easy Hoon for his teammate. But now 5 members, Trinity Force Corki. Maybe this will finally be the other turret. Although Bang and Marin.
Oh, jeez. And here's the carries coming around. Everyone just cut off from Escape. Frozen has to flash immediately. Bang. Thinking again, but he's still going to go through. They've got the wall coming in. No Chaos Storm, remember, for Easy Hoon. He's got a little bit of damage right there, though. They're trying to turn it. Gravity Field laid down. Pulverize comes through, and there is Bang. He's in the pit. He's going to flash forward for the kill onto Frozen. Easy Hoon's still there. They want Expression. They're going to get him eventually. There's just not enough damage to stop the Vayne. Double kill for Bang.
And look, Olaf has a motley crew of different items. He's got the Hex Drink, he's got the Spectre's Cowl, he's got the Glacial Shroud, but sadly, the sum total of his teamfight impact from those items is nil. He can't do anything. He doesn't have the Sivir speed up that Duke has. He doesn't even have the Selfish Righteous Glory. Okay, Olaf's ultimate, when you pop it, now gives you a second. We're going to watch the replay. Marin and Bang, 2 carries, standing in a pink ward, instantly killing the Corki, and that was really IM's hopes. Despite a nice turnaround, dashed there.
Well, IM, they knew they needed to get back into this game, but they just didn't have the flank wards to justify that level of aggressive play on the turret. So they took a risk, and it did not pay off for them. Bang just going to flash forward for the kill onto Frozen.
Look, just watch Expression. Remember, he doesn't have the Righteous Glory. He's already popped the ultimate. No more speed ups available. Look, at this point, he's 4v1. It's not been Olaf's game. It's not been Expression's game.
It certainly hasn't.
Death Cap, it's definitely Marin right here.
Wow, 7-0-1 on this Rumble in such a short amount of time in this game. 11 kills total, and Marin has been there for nearly all of them so far and taken them too.
He just wants Easy Hoon to stand within 600 units of the enemy, Bissell Scepter, and yeah, he'll just kill everyone.
Oh, there's the Blade of the Ruined King forcing out the Ragnarok, but Expression's still very slow. Expression, no Righteous Glory, like you said, no Ghost in that fight, and now Spooky gonna get knocked around. Explosive Cask.
Teleport.
The teleport coming in. They wanted to go in. They get Bang, but at what cost? Nice dodge onto the ultimate from Cassiopeia, laying down the equalizer. Ignar the first to fall on IM. Expression not even full HP coming into this fight. Marin just gets on top of Roar. Nearly kills Frozen with 1 harpoon. Easy Hoon here. Marin gets low. Double kill for the Rumble. And here we go. Walking up, Easy Hoon is just body blocking. Triple 10 kills for Marin. You know how it goes. Ace, Baron, whatever they want. The world is SKT's oyster, Papa Smithy.
But he skirmishes so smartly, despite lacking any real defensive stats at all. He has a bit of health from the Leandris, but nothing else. But understanding of his cooldowns, weaving in and out. Marin's Rumble is just a joy to behold.
It is pretty strong.
He's 4,000 gold
It's
ahead
pretty strong.
of Ola. 4,000 gold.
That's pretty astonishing for a short 22 minutes into this game.
Everyone else on this team is just a support act to Marin's Rumble, and that's why this champion sees bans. You just don't have the flexibility when Faker's in the lineup to ban it. But even with Easy in the lineup, somehow slips through, and Smalkai's pretty damn good too, so between those two champions, always a lot of headaches when you're trying to really account for Marin, who's growing and growing, but on the very familiar Rumble this time.
Yeah, he does actually have a higher win rate on his Maokai. He's 96% win rate on Maokai. He's 26-1. He's only 69%, 20-9 on Rumble all time. So, but a very subtle difference, I would have to say. I mean, when you start racking up that many wins compared to losses and that kind of a differential.
I mean, the Maokai stat is just staggering given the sample size of 27 games.
Yeah, that is very impressive indeed. But it is, I think, more relevant to have Marin on a damage threat when EasyHoon is in the game compared to Faker.
Don't disagree at all. EasyHoon, more known for playing safe, puts out a lot less percentage of his team's damage when he's playing. Usually on those poke champions that have the potential to put out damage, he'll never sacrifice his position to eke out that extra damage that Faker seems to do on command.
Yeah. Well, Marin back in split push mode. He is 3 levels over the Olaf at this point in time, so there's nothing really that Expression can do, especially since now he's gone for Home Guards and Ninja Tabi as a resort to team fighting and having at least some relevance against Bang's Vayne. I am attempting to threaten a Baron, but you have to say it's not very threatening right now, and someone's going to have to recall to deal with Rumble.
Don't have a blue buff on Cassio either. We're going to see the engage from Bangy
Oh,
though.
goodbye, Frozen. Instantly destroyed by Vayne and by Victor. There's the Blade of the Ruined King. Bang stopped up there by a death sentence from Ignar, but how far are they going to go with this? They don't have to really do much. Just keep on taking tier 2 turrets.
Hi, Expression.
Expression is there. Expression pops the Ragnarok just to leave. One parting undertow. Will not find a target. And 2 tier 2s taken by SK Telecom during that dance.
Could have been more, but they didn't want to bite off more than they could chew. Just backing away. Marin gonna go buy a Zhonya's probably. Yep. Casually adding the 3rd massive AP item to the stack. His 3rd dragon, no contest, and just a walk in the park for SK Telecom.
Oh, he didn't buy the Zhonya's. Zips out of the base, wants to get this big minion wave. Has those home guard boots. Now SKT trying to get back into control of this Baron. Expression is all alone with no Ragnarok and no Ghost, and that is a dead Viking. He will go to join his ancestors in Valhalla.
Valhalla gray screen.
There aren't any Valkyries, though. It's a lot less cool than normal Valhalla. It's just kind of black and white.
I mean, Raw can help him out with some Valkyries, but...
Okay, there we go. Frozen coming in, actually, with an ultimate. They are actually going to take down Marin. Baron still not killed. No heroic steal this time from Spooky. Bengi will land that smite. Frozen gets knocked around inside of the choke point. And EasyHoon, full HP, casually strolls through the enemy jungle. Roar has to get out of dodge. So Marin there. Tried to play the outside. Now has the Zhonya's Hourglass. That would have been helpful.
Can't really argue with over-aggression when you're 10-0-1. Just going for it all, but didn't have the defensive stats. But 4 kills for 1, and the Baron as well. It's pretty much just a scrim for SKT, although not really that helpful maybe for finals, given the lack of Fake.
Yeah. Well, this is more of what we expected. Game 1, surprisingly close. Now the Bengi's back in, and we see Marin on a carry top laner. He's absolutely dominated this game. Wolf is going to get grabbed right there. Has to pop his ultimate, but Bang is here. Bang is doing an insane amount of damage to Expression, and that's going to be it. Dodges the undertow with a tumble at the end.
Oh,
Ignar here. Blade of the Ruined King proc. Spooky has to come through to zone out Bang. Wolf low. Wolf with no ultimate, but the pressure just keeps coming. Now EasyHoon joining the members of his team in the mid lane. Marin still split pushing in bottom.
I feel like we're seeing something different out of Bang on Vayne this time because his aggression, he's looking for those extra orders. He's looking for the selfish 1v2, 1v3 flashy players that just not him as a player traditionally.
Yeah, definitely not. To be fair, it has been to greater or lesser effect. He's had some good plays, but he's misplayed a little bit too, so it's not the same kind of Vayne that we would see out of a player like OQ. Just going to go ahead and keep that minion alive while they tank out the turret with the teleport. And now SK Telecom looking for that big, nice condemn right into the inhib. That's going to be into Spooky. Wolf comes in, explosive cast. Ignar gets a hook onto Bengi, but still dies thanks to Easy Hoon's burst.
17,000 is the gold lead. Baron buff minions pushing in. They don't have the best turret damage. They don't have that Lich Bane. It's still just Vayne, but with 2 members dead, SKT going to look to try and finish here.
Yeah, Frozen has to come up huge. He only gets 1 with the Petrifying Gaze. That's not going to be enough to stop this pressure. Roar getting destroyed by Easy Hoon. And no equalizer kill there, unfortunately for Marin, but that is going to be the end of this game at sub 30 minutes. A dominating win by SK Telecom T1 in game 2. Bang showing up on the Vayne, but holy hell, Marin looks good.
And the shot calling with Bengi in the lineup looked so much more assured, so much more mature. Okay, you don't get the flashes of brilliance, the selfish plays that Tom can sometimes pull off, but you can see why Bengi seems to reign supreme in his team's estimation, just because he brings a level of control to match the chaos of Marin and his split-pushing 10-kill Rumble at 22 minutes.
Yeah, and 3 levels up over Expression by the end of that game. Over 5,000 gold in the lead.
Ridiculous.
He just took it over. Split-pushing threat